When it comes to creating animation, it does pay sometimes to just get a piece of paper and a pencil and make some notes as you think through what you actually want to do. It does save a lot of trial and error. Now, I suppose you could argue what we're doing here is not strictly animation because we're not going to move the videos. But we are going to fade them on and off the screen. That's going to require keyframes, so we need to be aware of how long we need to give each section. All we really need is a scrap of paper, but I've tidied things up a little bit here to walk you through what I mean. What we're effectively looking at here is a little plan of the objects and animations screen. There's the start, and this value here is what we need to work out. We know that we've got a fade in at the start, and we know we've got a fade out at the end. If you want to fade in over 4 or 5 seconds, then you need to take that into account. But what I'm going to do here is just stay with the standard 2 seconds. So it's going to take 2 seconds to fade the background video onto the screen. What do we want to happen then? Well, I think we need at least 2 seconds for the background to sit there and just do nothing. If we brought the inset videos up at this particular point, it just doesn't look right to the eye. So what we really need here, I think, is 2 seconds where the background does nothing. So thinking about the background video on its own for the moment, 2 seconds to fade on, 2 seconds to do nothing. So it's at this point we need the first or both of our inset videos to start to appear on screen. So we don't need them at all for the first 4 seconds. So now we need to think through the next stage, because at the 4-second point the inset videos should start to appear on screen. They begin completely transparent. So what we've got to do is to decide how long we're going to give them. Well, if we gave 2 seconds for the background to appear, then I think 2 seconds here is going to work pretty well for our inset images. And of course, when we reach the 6-second point on the timeline, then the inset videos need to be fully faded on screen. But then we need to think about how long we want these 2 images to just sit there to be viewed. Well, there are 2 videos, so I'm going to suggest we probably want 5 or 6 seconds, and I think I'll go for 6 seconds. So between the 6-second point and the 12-second point, nothing happens. The background video plays happily in the background. The 2 inset videos are playing for the 6 seconds we've given them. So the next stage we need to think through is how we're going to remove these from the screen. Well, why don't we just do a reverse of what we did at the start? Why don't we use 2 seconds to fade both of the videos down, allow a 2-second gap, and then the 2-second fade off. So a very quick pencil and paper plan has led us to decide that our background video needs to be 18 seconds to allow us to do everything we need to do with these inset images. Let's just go back through it one more time. Starting at 0, of course, we've got 2 seconds fade on for the background, 2 seconds where nothing happens. Between the 4 seconds and 6 seconds, then both of our insets fade up onto the screen. We've got 6 seconds to view them, and nothing happens there, but then 2 seconds they fade off, leaving our background playing for 2 seconds before it finally fades into the next image in our sequence. So our pencil and paper plan has also allowed us to work out the length of the inset videos, 10 seconds, because we know we don't need to see the video moving until 4 seconds into this particular sequence, and we know we don't require them any later than 14 seconds, so 4 from 14 leaves us with 10 seconds. Now we have another issue here that we need to bear in mind. Let's think about these inset images for the moment. In fact, they're both going to start working from this 0 position. Even though we cannot see them while the background is fading on screen over 2 seconds, and while we're enjoying the background for another 2 seconds, these videos will still be playing. So if I give them 10 seconds in length, that means that somewhere up here they're going to come to a crashing stop, 4 seconds short of what we require. So what we're going to do with our 2 inset videos is we're going to use the offset command. We're going to offset these videos by 4 seconds. So although the videos are sitting on screen from the 0 position, they're going to do nothing at all until we get to 4 seconds. Then they'll start working. We can view them between the 4 seconds, 6 seconds, 12 seconds and 14 seconds, and then they will stop. So that enables us to keep our inset videos to the absolute minimum of 10 seconds in length. Now you don't need to make a fancy plan like I have here. All I normally do is grab a piece of paper and I just think through what I want to do. I just put a line with a value and I use that as my guide when I'm putting together the animation. Because in fact, that's what we've got here. We know exactly where the keyframes need to go, and we know how many keyframes we need as well. Now the purpose of this plan is twofold. First of all, it helps us to work out exactly the length of videos we require, but it also gives us a plan to put it all together when we're ready to do so. But don't be too tied to the absolute second. I think we have to bear in mind that audiovisual isn't an exact science, so don't be too concerned if you want to add a second or two more to give yourself just a little wiggle room.